Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Dirty coming at you here. Fuck DZAN. Lazy fuck. I'm kidding. He's getting a dog today, and well, actually, it was yesterday, but and I don't think he had a whole lot of time to get a video up for you guys this week, so I thought I would take a little time out of my day to do that. And since there is no DZAN to stop me from talking and interrupting me like he always does, I'm going to talk a little bit today about our Detroit Red Wings. So obviously we had the NHL draft a couple of weeks ago. The Red Wings added Marco Kasper in the first round, and quite frankly, very, very impressive young man. I got a chance to watch the Detroit Red Wing developmental camp. And they do that every year. Well, they have for the past several years, but obviously the past couple of years, COVID kind of put the kibosh on that. So they missed out on that. So what they did was they brought previous draft picks from the past 2 years that didn't get to go to developmental camp, and they brought them in as well as all of the new draft picks. So it was a really good time, especially as a fan, to kind of get a glimpse on what these kids are, because, you know, what's the first thing? I don't care if it's the NHL draft, the NFL draft. First thing we do, right, is we go YouTube, who is, you know, the highlight of that person that they drafted, right? And what you get is a nonsensical video to watch because it doesn't apply to where they're going, right? So if it's college football, for example, they're going up against college football talent. It's not going to translate to the NFL. Same thing here. We can watch all of their junior A hockey and all of their college and, hell, ban them. Who knows? But in a situation like that, you don't really get a real good glimpse at what it's going to be like when they're going up against talent at their level and above. So we didn't get the above part, but we got the talent at their level, right? So, and in that, wow. Now, unfortunately, there were still a couple of players there that I was hoping I would see, but they weren't there. They're overseas, but boy, we got a couple of just Marco Kasper for one. Tremendous talent for the Wings. Very, very exciting to see him coming up. And then obviously we got a chance to see Simon Edvinsson, 6'6" Simon Edvinsson. He's a big boy, and I got a feeling he's going to make the team. And so that brings us to where we're at now, which is after the draft, we get free agency. Stevie did what Stevie does. And first thing he did was he made a trade for Ville Husso from the St. Louis Blues. Really solid goaltender. I was able to watch some clips from last year when he had to step in for Jordan Binnington in St. Louis. And he's a really solid goaltender. And Stevie got him day one and of free agency. And even though that wasn't a free agency move, it was a tremendous move to solidify that number 2 spot. So now they've got Ville Husso and Alex Nedeljkovic. You got Sebastian Cossa, who's going to be playing potentially in Grand Rapids this year. Played in junior hockey last year for the Edmonton Oil Kings and had an incredible playoff run for them. Then, obviously, we have this year's draft pick, Marco Kasper. Last year, we got Simon Edvinsson. There are so many pieces along the way that are coming along. And then what does he do? He goes and signs Andrew Kopp, center. Uh, hey, you know what? If there are any Red Wings fans watching this, we need to pump the brakes a little bit, because I'm not seeing a lot of the things that you're seeing. Hang on one second, guys. Sorry about that. The thing is with Andrew Kopp is he's going to make a tremendous 2C. He is not a 1C. And I think we're fooling ourselves if we believe that. And I think we want to believe that because we needed the 1C, because we have found that Dylan Larkin is really not a true number one center. Okay. It, we're not going to pretend anymore. Okay. He's a tremendous hockey player and still our captain and still our best player, in my opinion. Maybe make the argument a couple other players, maybe Tyler Bertuzzi. You know, some people view him a little differently because he's a tougher guy, and you got some old school thoughts there. And then you got Jacob Vrana, but Jacob Vrana, number one, he hasn't been a Red Wing for a real long time. And quite frankly, he hasn't stayed healthy long enough to get a real true glimpse of who he is. So um, now we have two C's, which it means two second line centers, and still don't have that number one center. However, doesn't mean that we're done forever. Obviously, next year we could go make a run and snag that number one free agent next year. When we're in a position where it makes sense. It doesn't make sense this year. Stevie was right to do what he did. What else is new? Stevie gets it right. Um, so then we signed David Perron, very physical winger. Uh, he's a bit of a grinder, uh, and but he can score. But what I love about David Perron is his tenacity. He's very, very tenacious. And I think that between him and the next guy I'm going to talk about, Benn, and I know a lot of Wings fans are not exactly excited about the contract that we got him for, but let's look at it from this perspective. Benn was brought in to protect players. All right, we've got a lot of young players on that team, and so we need Benn. We have to have Benn. So there's a price tag associated with that in itself. And then I think some people are sleeping on his defensive capabilities. No, he's not going to put the puck in the net. All right. Every 10 games, he's going to stick one in there, and that you'll be happy with that. That's not why we brought him in. And I understand the money thing. I get that part. But when you look at it from the perspective of him coming in there to protect Mo Sider, to protect Simon Edvinsson, to protect all of these, Gustav Lindstrom, if he makes the team, I mean, we saw him last year. That dude, he needs help mentally to get in himself injected into the NHL system, and how it works. But he needs protected. Uh, so yeah, I have no issue with that contract. And anybody that does have an issue with that contract, I don't know how you're looking at it, but if you're looking at it from a straight production standpoint, I get it. That's not how you have to look at this, because there are way too many more pieces to this to view, right? Um, and so uh, here we are. We've got a solid number two goaltender. Um, we've got the center position is filled now between Dylan Larkin, um, Pius Suter, right? Obviously, Andrew Kopp is going to take that. Well, we'll see. But so you got Andrew Kopp, Dylan Larkin, you got Pius Suter, and you got Michael Rasmussen. So all 4 center positions are filled now. And I couldn't be happier because last year we were always scrounging around trying to find a center, and Michael Rasmussen had to step up sometimes into that third line. It just created. Michael Rasmussen is a pure 4th line center. He was built for it. So he's not going anywhere. That's his job. And I believe Pius Suter has done enough to earn that 3rd center position. And then obviously we got Dylan Larkin, and I'm going to do a thing later on down the road here, maybe just before the season starts during training camp or something. We'll talk about the lineups and the rosters, the roster spots, and then we'll talk about the lineup. But yeah, it's exciting time to be a Red Wings fan. And I know this ain't going to happen, and I don't want it to happen because I think the timeline that we're on right now is good enough for me. I think we're 2 years away from really being a force in the NHL. However, there is a lot of chatter going on right now about John Klingberg and as well as even Matthew Tkachuk being traded to the Wings. John Klingberg, I want nothing to do with. So I hope Stevie doesn't do that. I know he won't. And then the other one is Matthew Tkachuk. Now, Matthew Tkachuk, that cures the problem of the number 1 center, right? However, what are you giving up to get him? And are we ready for him yet? I don't believe we are. We're not in that space yet. However, if Stevie does make that move, there's no question the Red Wings are a playoff team. I think we already are, quite frankly. I think we already are. I think Stevie did enough now this offseason that we are going to, at the very least, be flirting at the very end with it. Bringing in Matthew Tkachuk, that's a game changer. So anyway, that's my little contribution for this week. And I hope to see you guys next week with DZAN. Metal Bugger Dudeface. Why did I just say that? Dirty out.